The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Every 76 years, Halley's Comet returns to our night sky. Every 7 years, Mr. Spock must return to the planet Vulcan. And every 13 weeks, the SRF Big Grid returns to iRacing. And all the action from Green Flag to Victory Donuts will be brought to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. As we float high in the Floridian sky looking down at Sebring International Raceway, which today, for the first time, gets the honor of hosting the tradition that is the SRF Big Grid. We wait with anticipation. For in about 10 minutes, the flagman will show the green to a large field of open cockpit spec racer Fords, releasing them from a standing start towards the first corner of this 18-lap contest. This is the 9th edition of this event, and no matter the venue, the racing has always been exciting, with many a victory decided between the final corner and the finish line. Today's action should be no different, so right now, ensure that the internet is properly displayed on your big screen. Fix up a plate of swamp cabbage with a cool glass of OJ. Then sit down and pull the lever on the recliner, and you'll be all set to enjoy the 45 minutes of open cockpit sim racing excitement that will be streaming your way. Hello from the Sunshine State, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm Bill Soupzon. Joining me in the booth to call the action will be Sean Crackers Ambrose. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, our director Joe Peak. And at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by the renowned Dougie Whiskers Beard. Sean, the organizer's stated idea for this event is simple. Put 60 spec racer Fords on a track with plenty of passing opportunities, and you'll have race-long side-by-side racing. Now, Road America has been the track of choice for this event in the past, hosting 3 times, but other venues have been visited as well, such as Watkins Glen, Suzuka, Mid-Ohio, Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, and then Phillip Island. But today's location, Sebring, certainly has the characteristic that event organizers were looking for. Tell us a little bit about this historic Florida track.
Beautiful Sebring Raceway here in Sebring, Florida. Beautiful day on track today here, Bill. A classic one indeed. Started off as an Army Air Force's training base back in '41. They opened it up as a track in 1950. One of the oldest continuous racing tracks in the country, 17 marvelous turns, great sections to this track. Start with Big Ben and the hairpin, the famous hairpin. We were talking about how tricky that is. Fangio, Cunningham, Collier, into Tower, down Bishop, up to Lamar, and you finish it up with the Ullman straight in the back, and you hit Sunset. And boy, I'll tell you what, Sunset, anything but a peaceful sunset indeed. That is going to be the tricky one on the course to watch him navigate today, for sure. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick ride around in the Spec Racer Ford with Amjad Yaman.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman of the GSRC SRF, so let's do a lap around Sebring. Coming down to turn 1, it's a long stretch, so it might be a passing opportunity. But turn 1 is actually pretty fast in these little cars. So when you add the bumps and the blind apex into the mix, it makes overtakes a little sketchy. Hopefully, you kept it out of the dirt, but you should still hold to the right and try to line the car up for 3. This is another spot where you could potentially execute a pass, but it's a late apex and the car does not like that inside curb, so be careful. From there, you dive straight into 4 and 5, where you've got another very late apex. This time, though, it's extremely important not to come in shallow, because the track now winds around Big Bend, where you'll be flat to the floor all the way to the hairpin. The draft is likely to bring drivers into play, and even if you took that out of the equation, the braking into 7 here at the end offers a perfect chance to try to outbrake your opponent. Try to take away their inside line, and then throw out the anchor to beat them to the apex. The main part is to be careful around the exit, where the track has a little kink in it, making it easy to accidentally go off into the grass. Make sure to keep your tires clean and avoid cutting the circuit. From there, the course weaves gently to the right at 8 and back left at Fangio. If you've got a run on your opponent, it can sometimes make picking a side awkward. Plus, the lead up to Cunningham is a popular spot to send one up the inside, but yet again, those tall inside curves are waiting for anyone to get greedy and bounce the car all over the place. From here, the track gets a little thin though through Collier, and it's tough to go side by side because of the way the racing line takes you across the circuit. Coming up, it's a tough curved braking zone down into Tower, where it's not uncommon for drivers to put two wheels off and pitch it into the barrier. Besides, the exit here is what you should really be trying to maximize instead of the entry, because it's another turn that leads into a fast, flat-out section for the SRF. You've got a double apex left-hander with Bishop, where it's all about minimizing inputs. Then, once again, try to straighten her out for 15. There's plenty of paved runoff around these turns, but you really don't want to go off in case it gives you a cut course penalty. And as you enter Le Mans, you'll see why it's a nightmare to get a slowdown at this portion of the circuit. We've now hit the long Ullman straight, and anybody not piling down this stretch on a full head of steam is going to be driven past with ease. Plus, this is another spot where the draft will already be creating side-by-side situations, and someone will want to back out by the time they hit sunset. It's got this kink at the entry, then you're trying desperately to slow her down and turn at the same time. On top of that, the bumps are going to be jostling the car every which way, which ups the difficulty immensely. Get yourself a good exit off the turn because we've now come back to the pit straight. And if you kept it all together, you finished a lap around Sebring.
There's a lap around Sebring, and boy, you really do get a great view from that over-the-shoulder camera there with that open cockpit over the helmet of Amjad Yaman as he took us around. Now let's go ahead and this is the point in the pre-race show where we usually do point standings, but we don't have any of this, but we are going to look at previous winners. And with apology to the aforementioned Halley's Comet and Mr. Spock, you know, a quick glance at the FRS grid previous winners, and it shows that the schedule is not quite as regular as the broadcast intro depicted. In fact, the series has been on hiatus since the 8th running back in the fall of 2015, when the feeling was that the series had lost its sense of community that made it so special. Now, league organizers have worked really hard to get the SRF, the IGP Fund League, and the Big Grid events back to being all about hard racing with a very friendly environment, both on and off the track. Series organizers now believe they once again have probably the cleanest racing on iRacing. Looking at the past winners, one name that stands out, and that is the three-time winner, Day Cobalopez. Now, he's not here with us today, and of course, Cobalopez is from Spain. What I want to do, we'll talk a little about his third win a little bit later, but right now, let's jump to the race details and let Sean go over some of the specific rules for this event.
All right, so let's talk about the 1.9 liter four-cylinder Ford Spec Racer. That is the vehicle of choice today, sir, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it. 30 minutes open qualifying. Actually, I'm sorry, it was a 40-minute qualifying session. Race distance today going to be 18 laps. We've got a 45-minute session. Should be 18 laps. Red zone. Let's talk about that real quick. They've asked that there'll be no passing until after turn 3, so we'll standing start today. You'll get through turn 1. Everybody will be lined up side by side, down into turn 1, through 1, and then you'll make a hard left into 2. And once you kick back to the right there and head off, it's time to go. Racing will start and commence, and it'll be a left-hander in 4, so that'll be fun to watch. Open setup. Everybody got a own little special twist on how they like to get around, and they've been working on them for weeks, getting ready for this big race today. Not going to have to worry about a pit stop today. You can use as much fuel as you want or as little as you need. And fast repairs, yeah, you'll get them, but they'll be pointless. This is a balls out to the finish race, Bill, and if you got to bring it in the pits, you're not going to be in the race anymore. Something special we're doing with the weather, we're going with real-world conditions. So actually today out here on track, we're looking at 89 degrees on track, 89 degrees ambient temperature, a little overcast today. Relative humidity about 56%. Pretty good racing conditions, Bill. I'm looking forward to this one.
Absolutely, and to get an idea of what it's actually like on the track right now, I think we can go in car here with Darren Keene. Darren, you have a copy?
I got you.
How's the track feeling right now?
Track's a little bit cool, and it's feeling actually pretty grippy. It's not too bad.
Okay, you're starting a little bit farther back in the field now. You got the red zone where you can't pass until turn 3. What's your thoughts going into the hairpin? You just going to kind of play it by ear? You're going to be defensive or maybe make some moves as you get down into 5?
Yeah, I usually play it pretty defensive in these big grid cars. Just try and look ahead and see what's happening, stay out of trouble, and wait for my moment. Patience is key for me.
I know we've covered you in other events. Have you raced in the big grid before, or is this your first run?
This is actually my first run. I've always wanted to join in it, but I've always had other commitments happening, so it's just glad that I can make it out for this. It's always been something I've wanted to do and contribute to.
All right, well, since you were kind enough to join us in the pre-race interview, we're going to keep an eye on you throughout the race. Good luck as you move up through the field.
All right, thanks, guys.
Darren Keene starting about, looked like he was about 35th or so back there. All right, Sean, there's one thing I want to follow up on here before we go to talk about the grid. I want to follow up on the red zone here. Now, the series officials take this really seriously, and you heard Darren talk about it as well. In fact, there's a driver who shall not be named was stripped of a win in the last event for passing before the red zone, before he was allowed. And his disqualification that's what we talked about, Koba Lopez's third win. That's how Koba got that one. And with that said, now the drivers out there should keep in mind that my partner, Sean Ambrose, was not allowed to be the 4th grade hall monitor many, many decades ago. So he has a lot of pent-up tattling that he's been wanting to get off his chest for decades. So everyone should consider themselves warned. Crackers is going to be watching, and he's going to be naming names. Now, Sean, speaking of naming names, most of the names we saw on the track, previous winners, are not here today. Who are some of the drivers that you think might be somebody to keep an eye on today?
Man, there are some seasoned veterans here today. I think, honestly, the ones that you're going to have to watch are the ones that are up front. Organizer Luca Verani, I think, is certainly one to watch. I know he's put a lot of practice time in. Stefan Overgaard is in the field, and certainly a specialist on road course and 4-cylinder vehicles. Stefan, a master of the MX-5, and so yeah, Boss Slob is in the field.
Boss Slob.
Yeah, Boss Slob is in the field. He's been around forever. Tim Seidel, he's one to watch. I raced with him a little bit in practice. He was putting down some great times in practice. But we're going to go to the grid here in a second. The guy sitting at the top of the field right now, Charlie Summers. Well, if you're up front, that's not a bad place to start and or finish, isn't it, Bill?
Absolutely. And what we're going to do is going to go to the grid right now. We're going to call it before qualifying is done because this is the big grid and it's a standing start. So for us to get through this whole thing, we got to kind of start it early. So if things switch around a little bit, we apologize for that. Looking at your top performers right now, sitting on the pole, there's Charlie Summers with Johnny Gindi out there on the outside of row 2. Now, a name to keep an eye on, Filippi Farinelli. He's supposed to be very, very good. Max Venice in the outside of row 2. Clark Williams in the 5th position outside of him, Ronnie Dudek. Going to row 4 is Sebastian Raymond, and then a name that we're very familiar with here is Luca Verani. Then we go down to the 5th row there, it's Josh Arnold and Gerald McCarby. Sean, who do you got in row 6?
Well, row 6, let's go with William Nell. In the 836, Jason Perry in 12th. Stefan Overgaard starting 13th, Fraser Williamson 14th, Martin Ensman 15th, Tim Seidel 16th, Boss Slob 17th, Jonathan Keir 18th, Anthony Carbone Jr. 19th, and Robert Fears rounding out the top 20.
As we work our way back a little bit farther, the 11th row, Luke Cooper and Kelly Niquette. Bobby West in there in the inside of 12, and Mehdi Makrani in the 24th position. Cristobal Gutierrez starting in 25th. Outside of him is Michael Chase. Row 14 is going to be made up of Mario Pires, and in the 28th position, it's Rixer Marino Paredes. Back there in the 15th row is Manning Grinnan and Philip Berry. Sean?
All right, and then at 31st, we've got Paul Wallington. 32nd, just there on the outside, that's going to be Jeff Bixby. 33rd goes to Adam Bradshaw. Steve Allen in 34th. Tim Phillips, 35th today. Aaron Pitts, 36th. Darren Keene, 37th. Claudio Ferrari, 38th. Ralph Kemmerer, 39th. And Bob Grant, 40th.
I like the accent on Ferrari. That was very good. I was impressed. Don Brooks in starting on the inside row 21. Outside of him is Tom Vanderpoel. Dennis Neagle, who is a real-world co-driver in help me out, director, in rally. Thank you. Ian Wilson, I was lost for word there. Tris Smith in 45. Dale Bennison in 46th position. And rounding out the last row, a name I'm familiar with, Kyle Young out there. And then Richard Valley in the 48th spot. 48 drivers put in qualifying times. 48 drivers on the grid. Should be pretty large here as they start to grid up.
Wow, Bill. So there's going to be so much to talk about, probably in just the opening lap. So take a deep breath, my friend.
Well, what we're gonna talk about first is how well they behave. As the qualifying still going on, as some drivers are still on their hot lap. So even though qualifying is over, they're going to let them finish that lap.
Yeah,
One thing that we are going to talk about is behaving for those first three corners.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick because, this is a standing start. So they're going to start on the front straightaway right there at the start-finish line. That's where all the grid positions are at. They're going to speed off down into one. They've got to manage to stay side by side through there as they're getting up to speed. It should be an okay trip through. You'll get hard on it, though, down into three, and that's where they want everybody to keep things in order down there. Not a passing opportunity, a chance to get the car settled through the turn. Once you're through the turn, you can get going, and it's time to race. Now, I would think the better spot to do that would probably be out of the very next tough turn of turn 5 going left, but you're going to get racing before you go left at turn 5, so that's going to be really tricky. There's a lot of runoff right there as you go through 4 and get into 5 off to the right. We're probably going to see a few cars off in the kitty litter in the grass there for the opening lap of this race, Bill.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I thought that maybe that red zone could have been extended a couple corners farther, but they want to let them race, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting as they get down that long bound through Big Bend. What's going to happen there at the end of Big Bend when they get into that tight right-hander? Still a few cars out there. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was going to say they go right under the Corvette Bridge there as they go through Big Bend, and that's where it'll open up side by side, and it'll be a drag race down into that tricky hairpin that we talked about early. You've really got to get the car slowed down there, and everybody's going to want to be the first one there to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun, Bill, for sure. Again, that opening zone that we've all got to watch out for, it's going to be very interesting to see who's on their best behavior as we get 48 cars to start this field.
Well, you heard what Darren Keene had to say. He says he's going to be defensive on that first lap, and that's probably a smart move. You're probably safer taking that defensive line and making guys go around you. At least you protect yourself against the crazy dive bomb that could happen there. So I would tend to do that same thing as well. Even though I may not have the pace, I would like to protect that inside line possible until things sort out a little bit. Okay, I believe qualifying is completely done, and we can confirm that Charlie Summers is still up in front, John Gindy in second position. Now, Sean, we do so many of these races where so much of it is strategy with fuel consumption. Right here, it's open setups. They can put in all the fuel they need. They don't want to put in more than they need. Oh, you can't change the fuel in this car, so I'm hearing from our director. So they're good to go. They are going the distance here on this thing.
Yes, sir, they are. And again, the pit stop, the pit box, not going to be your friend today. You need to stay on course to win this race. It's all the more. Hey, this is a Saturday night short track event, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's a long track, but it's going to be the track, Bill, is one big passing opportunity. Plenty of zones here to get it done. Plenty of great spots to pass. When we get to the Ullman on the back of this course, you're going to see 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 wide. It's not a very big car. We're getting ready to do it. We're on the grid now and ready to go, Bill.
Well, I'm not sure where to call the start of this race. If we should call it at the beginning or call it when the red zone is done. I think we'll call it here at the very beginning, because one thing that is impressive, you look at that beautiful long shot. Look at all those SRF machines out, Spec Ford racers, FSRs out there. My goodness, Spec Racer Fords. I always get that backwards. Look at them lined up like like your wife's necklace sitting on the nightstand there, glistening in the candlelight. Boy, those are beautiful. Two multicolored strings of pearls there. Lights are up. You can hear the little engine starting to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And Charlie Summers leads the Stampede into the first corner. He's followed by, of course, who else? Car number 2, Johnny Gindy in the car number 17 machine.
Paredes back here in the number 101. He got a very slow start. I don't know if he started in the wrong gear or what, but several cars had no choice but to pass him. I don't think that'll be penalized, but Paredes caused quite a stack up. They've separated around him very nicely. Everybody up ahead of him heading down into turn 2. Here we go.
Little fighting going on back there from Grinnan and back there, and they're all trying to keep their line. Kelly Niquette trying to keep their order. Everyone trying to stay in line, and now the race is underway as they go down Big Bend. There's no move for the position, no move for the lead right now. Your leader's still out in front, Charlie Summer. Gindy in second position. Farinelli in third.
Ralph Kemmer in a number 68. He got offline just a bit, off into the dirt, but he's back under power. Everybody got through the first 5 turns. Nice and clean, Bill. The back of the field heading through the hairpin right now.
That's what the big grid racing is all about. Congratulations to the series organizer and for all the drivers for doing a good job doing it. We haven't quite finished lap 1 yet, so let's not count our chickens before they're hatched. But up front, it looks very good. Nice string of cars all the way back. Everyone keeping a nice interval between them. There is a break, though, from 11th position. Let's take a quick look at William Knoll. Little bit of a break back to Jason Perry in 12th.
The 255 of Paul Wallington was off. Got a little bit of damage on the right front of the car. He hit it pretty hard, but he's back under power. The Warsteiner machine is traveling on, baby.
Let's drop back to 12th position here. Is Jason Perry in a nice battle. He's the engine in this train. He's got Fraser Williamson behind him. Stefan Overgaard back behind Tim Seidel. In fact, there comes a pass. If we watch right now, you'll see that's Williamson on the inside making a move. Gets around Perry. Williamson moves up into 12th position. The leaders all still running single file up front. Now let's go to second position as there looks to be a battle for second. Johnny Gindy taking a defensive line. No, on the outside. And look at this, the car moving on the inside. That's Farinelli. Felipe Fillinelli. Oh, they make contact. Gindy is spinning, but he saves it. Is he going to be collected? No, but he drops 3 or 4 positions. A great save by Johnny Gindy.
Watching Dudek is off the track, into the grass, catching it there on screen, trying to make his way back up. Pretty tricky. He's swinging it out wide. Now he's back in the grass. Looks like he's got to park it, Bill. Yep, yeah, he's in the pit.
He's called it a day, or at least going in for that fast repair, which will put him out of competition.
Looks like Kelly Niquette. Oh, the 303 of Kelly Niquette has spun. Lots of traffic getting around. Falling down the board to Kelly, able to spin it around, get back on track. The 303 in trouble. A little bit of damage on that machine on the right front. Ooh, smashed it up pretty good. Catching it on the replay now. Back it up just a little bit. And that's the 303 right down there. A little bit of help there from the 63. Oh, Cristobal Gutierrez. Maybe with just a slight bit of contact looking at Cristobal's car. I'm seeing a little damage on the left front of that machine.
And while we were watching that replay, Felipe Farinelli has moved into the front. He's got around Charlie Summers very nicely, so Summers falls back to second. Clark Williams running in third. Max Bennett's in fourth. Those are the 4 cars that are beginning to distance themselves a little bit to fifth place. Sebastian Raymond, who's really got to keep it on rails if you're going to catch up to those 4 drivers who are out in front.
Yeah, it looks like that would be a couple of teammates there in Summers and Farinelli, and they are leading the pack right now. Off to a great start, just chewing up the clean air as they head down the famous Holman Straight.
Now here's a run from his teammate Charlie Summers, going to drop inside. Get that done as we ride on board with Max Bennett's here. Watch as they go around Sunset.
Oh, we got another car off back here, back in Lamar. That's Aaron Pitts in the number 30, the number 40. He lost it coming through Lamar. There's the 40 on screen. We're picking up the replay now.
Looks like he got up into the back of Tim Phillips there a little bit, and maybe that's Tim Phillips ahead of him. I'm not sure if he made contact. Actually, what I think happened there, Sean, I think he got off the throttle. This has happened to me. Got off the throttle, and when that happens, that tail end's going to come around on you.
Yeah, maybe even just a little bit too much curb, too. Their car was up on it, and he was charging hard, but unfortunately, it looks like that's going to end his day. Oh, a lot of cars off in turn one, Bill.
It looks like it's Mario Paredes was involved in that in the 28th position. Also caught in it was Kyle Young.
Oh, I think it was our friend Spider-Man that actually it started with Jason Perry in a 97, starting to lose it coming through one.
Cristobal Gutierrez may be also involved in it.
He was spinning off in the dirt. Jason Perry was spinning off on the dirt, and I think people checking up behind him is what caught. Yeah, he got back underway, but man, there were a lot of cars that collected there just inside of him.
Yeah, I think Perry, while he might have been the instigator, I think he got away clean. Nobody got him. He just did a little 360 loop in the grass there and got it going back.
Loses a lot of positions, but he did get the car turned back around under power, so he's good. It's still Philippe Farinelli up front, though.
Gonna give you an interval right now that's kind of important. This is the interval from Clark Williams running in 4th position back to Luca Verani in 5th. Verani has got around Sebastian Raymond now, and that interval is about 3.8 seconds. We'll see if Verani can get close enough to get into the tow here and see if he can run down Clark Williams. If he can do it, he can bring a lot of cars with him. Sebastian Raymond there, Josh Arnold running in 7th, Gerald McCarvey running in 8th could also get there. So I think that Verani running in 5th might have the pace to get there.
Sebastian Raymond, looking at that car, he had taken some damage to the rear end at some point. Rear of that car, the number 27, not looking too good. Certainly you don't have to be too aero conscious. You may be okay, maybe even a little bit of better downforce on that machine, but I don't know how much more damage he can take back there. We're going to have to watch, keep an eye on that car, make sure it makes it through this race.
There you see the last car in line, car number 67. Apologies to the friends and family and fan club of Jared McAreevy. Sorry, it's not McCarvey. Running in 8th position right now. Looking up behind Sebastian Raymond.
Nice battle here between Kelly Nickett in the 303 and the 129. The 129 of Don Brooks. Kelly working with a lot of damage on that machine, but wheeling it pretty well now as they head up Ullman.
We go to look at the Nickett running in 31st position. What's happened, Sean, is that these cars have broken up into sets of 4 as we go to 11th now. This is the 3rd set of 4, read by William Knoll, Tim Seidel, and then 11th right now we're looking at Martin Ensman. And then the last car in here in 12th position is Stefan Overgaard. So now if you drop back, you have another set of 4. There's Luke Cooper now side by side. Behind them, that's Bas Slav. And then on the inside that's Robert Fears making a moving up into 15th position on Bobby West.
Yeah, Fears charging really hard right now.
West fighting back, though.
West to the inside. This is a good passing opportunity through here.
Fears finally gets that settled. Over under there a little bit for Bobby West. West not giving up the ghost now as he starts to move. He's going to have the preferred line here, not through this first left-hander, but when they come to the important corner coming up here, he can hang on here. He'll have the line. Nope, not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, Fears doing a really, really good job of putting the power down. Gets the really nice line there at the end of Fangio. And here we go. Time for the drag race down to Ullman. Oh, really closing it up there. Really close.
Almost got too good of an exit. He closed up on Fears almost too soon that he almost had to break his momentum there. Now he's on the inside. We're going to go up front, though. We'll leave this battle for the lead. Going down the main straight. Farinelli on the outside, being challenged by Summers. Pair of teammates of Farinelli, who I believe gets that spot back. Oh, Summers really backs off and almost backs up into Max Venitz.
Fears and West. I'm still watching Fears and West. They are battling. West now with just a bit of the advantage on the inside, heading into one.
We ride on board with West now. Now we ride on board with Bobby Fears, looking ahead of Bobby West. Pair of Roberts going at it, 15th and 16th.
Yes, sir, and this is a turn right here where you got to think quick and get back on the power for just a little bit before you kick it to the left. This is a tough turn. You don't want to get out too far there on the curb. Collect a little bit of dirt, gets a little slick, head under the bridge, and then that really nice battle there to the hairpin. Again, these are all great passing zones, great opportunities to make up time and get advantage on your opponent, but the hairpin is where you separate the men from the boys, Bill.
Let's go back to the lead here as we have another pass, although I think we're going to have this a lot. Charlie Summers go ahead and takes that over. Farinelli dropping back into second. A pair of teammates swapping position. Watching the whole thing is Mac Venitz in third. I hear a little contact somewhere out there. Did I get a blown engine perhaps? No, let's go just a little bump. Oh, Philip Berry, I think, has blown. He was running in 43rd position. Philip has called it a day. We don't need to go back there. Too bad for Philip. His day is done.
You can definitely pop a motor in these little four cylinders. If you miss a shift, it can be very deadly.
So now I want to update you on something as we look at the front four running right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really think that the race winner is going to come from those guys because I gave you that interval before from 4th to 5th. Well, now it's up to 6.6 seconds. You look at Clark Williams. Before it was Luca Verani. Verani's been passed by Josh Arnold, but Arnold's not able to make up any time. But still a great battle going on for that the top 5 position there between Arnold, Verani. You see in the blue car behind him. And now we're looking at a side-by-side battle again for the lead. That's going to happen a lot. And who do we have? Is that Farinelli going back in front? It's so hard to tell because those cars are identically painted. Pair of teammates of Farinelli back in front of Summers, at least for the time being.
Well, Bill, we've definitely gotten off to a great start in this race. Only 14 laps to go right now. Unfortunately, there's been a little bit of attrition. Philip Berry is in the pits. Ian Wilson's in the pits. Steve Allen, Fraser Williamson, Johnny Gindy, Cristobal Gutierrez, and Aaron Pitts have all left the race.
Oh, Steve. Oh. Going up front to Venitz there as he's... Looks like, his Venitz has moved now up into second position, has split those teammates. That's probably a spot that I would try to hold on to, but I think Farinelli has other things in mind. He wants to get back up behind his teammate again. So sad to see Steve Allen go because I had a great nickname for Steve. Steve Gravy Waltz Allen. Nobody's old enough to know that. You'll have to Google that one. You got to be a jazz musician to know about Gravy Waltz. Okay, meanwhile, I talk about that. Farinelli back up into second position now. Venitz back to third. And again, the guy who's been watching the whole thing, just kind of sitting back there, watching it like a fly on the wall, is Clark Williams.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bill, Jared McRavy fans, they have something to be certainly excited about. He just took over another position up to 6th place now. The number 67.
We're looking here and we're talking we're thinking that the director, Sean, we're thinking that these guys are not working together here. Our director thinks that they're fighting back and forth. I think they're right because the passes that they're making are not at these strategic places where you can make a pass without slowing down the leader. These guys are really working each other hard. In fact, they're doing it 2 or 3 times a lap.
Yeah, well, again, this we talked about it several times already. This track full of it's just rife with passing opportunities. Lots of drafting taking place, and well, Whereas they may be teammates and they're running the same paint schemes, they definitely have their own agendas right now. But I'm going to be honest with you, this race up front does not look like it's going to be decided until the last lap at the rate they've been passing each other right now.
There you see the two cars in front making a move as they go through Sunset. Sunset, this corner has more bumps than Tony Montana's coffee table as they go around. You look at the cars bouncing up and down as they go around it. Oh man, it's brutal. Then you're able to find that apex and then get the power down before you slide out to the grass. A great onboard camera from another one of Dougie Beer's shots, and there's another pass for the lead as Farinelli looks to the inside. There's Summers on the outside, and Farinelli takes it.
We definitely want to try and keep it nice and tidy right there, right up against the wall, as close as you can get.
Here comes Farinelli fighting back again as they go side by side into this right-hander. They're not going to be able to get this decided yet. They go into the corner together, and then, nope, that's not going to work. Summers drops back into second position again.
Looks to me like they're having just a little bit of fun, maybe almost a little too much fun early on in this race. I say early on. We only have 12 laps to go, Bill.
Yeah, we got to watch it again. As boys, not only are they going side by side, but they are going door handle to door handle. They are getting really, really close, where they come in real jeopardy of like a net leg or a ghost contact, giving them an issue where they could both put themselves out of the race, and it wouldn't be either one's fault. They still battle for second. Then it's watching in third, and the guy who's been in fourth the entire time is Clark Williams. It'll be interesting to see what he has for these guys.
Clark doesn't need anything yet. He just needs to hang on and watch the show. Ooh, a little bit of contact going on here back of the field. Luke Cooper sitting at 13th place right now. Fears just shoots up the middle between those two cars. The 6 also involved there. That's Luke Cooper. Just behind them, the 56 of Boslav, the 47 of Manning Gritton, and in the 89 of Bobby West. That is a great battle going on right there. They're all mixing it up. Fears looks like to be the big winner there, though. He got through them all and takes another position as he continues to march his way up through the field.
Yeah, Fears up to 12th, Cooper in 13th there, and then Boslav back there in that yellow machine in 14th. Yellow and black car. That's a great battle going on. Pretty good battles, as we talked about, Sean. They've broken up into... We'll stay on this for a while as I'm watching the lead right now. There is another pass for the lead, but we don't have to go there because we've seen it so many times. And right now, Summer moves back in as they go into Sunset. Well, we'll actually go there. We'll look at it. There's Summers back in front again.
Man, that bump, right there in the middle of Sunset, up against the wall on the inside, there's a huge bump. You don't want to hit that thing the wrong way. It will send that car flying off to the left. Get you all out of shape, but that's the safe trip around. That's where you want to be. That's the speed down there on the inside. And as they head down into one.
I've called enough of these low horsepower races where the draft plays such a big factor that you think, well, obviously you don't want to be in first. You think you want to be in second, but so often the winner actually comes from third position. Go ahead.
In that battle we were watching, Luke Cooper got around coming through Sunset. He got spun around, got back under power. Nobody hit him. Don't really see any damage on the car. Try and see what happened here on the replay real quick.
Tries to make a move. It looks like Mario Pierce got a little loose there, but no, and there's Cooper in the white machine. Oh, they touch. Cooper and Pierce get together.
Pierce able to slide out of it. Oof, man, that was close for Pierce. A couple cars that were fighting together. That's a bad place to fight there in Sunset. Just a little bit of contact can end it all.
Yeah, if you make contact in Sunset and be able to drive away, you consider yourself lucky. Let's go up to the lead here now as well. Venice was looking to make a move here into second position. And Sean, what I was saying there before those guys started to get together is I really think third position might be the place to be, because so often when on these low horsepower cars, when the second place car pulls out, they get side by side and the 1 and 2 make such a big hole that the third place car can really make a move, maybe even the fourth place car. So if we're looking at these guys, maybe Clark Williams from fourth, even though he hasn't shown anything yet, might be somebody to keep an eye on.
Well, these top 4 cars are going to be hard to catch up to, Bill. They have really started to check out on the rest of the field behind them.
Yeah, they're gone. It's 8 seconds now. Let's look at that second set of 4 real quick. Josh Arnold running in 5th position. McAreevy running there in 6th there. Sebastian Raymond in 4th. And I want to see, there's Luca Verani. He was up there running. Something must have happened to Luca as he's dropped back to 8th, falling off the pace.
Yeah, Luca kind of stuck out there by himself right now. Really a little too far back on Ullman to catch the draft of those guys. He's going to have to do it on skill and a little bit of power to try and catch them. That's his best hope right now. He might get a little help from Martin Ensman just behind him, and then we've got Stefan Overgaard also back there. So those two may be able to catch the one. Maybe the 3 of those will get a chance to work together. Certainly ground to be made up through Sunset. You've got to be good. You've got to be perfect through here to get just the maximum out of it. Overgaard back here done a pretty good job of getting through there. He's got the 421 again working with him there. That's Tim Seidel.
Well, Sean, you spent a little time in this car prepping for this race. Let's jump ahead here 10 laps to the final lap. Oh, the leader gets loose. Let's go ahead, and that Summer gets loose. He's going to lose 1 position, 2 positions, 3 positions more. Back, Charlie Summers back into 4th.
The 350 Devolution machine sees a little bit of trouble, and man, it does not take long for them to get away, but here's the hairpin. Here's a chance to make up a little bit of ground. He's caught him back up, but he finds himself at the end of that rattlesnake tail.
I just don't think Summers is going to be happy at the back there.
Happy or patient, Bill?
No. It's he's not an endless Summer. He's going to move up to the front. And now we look there a little bit there as we see Venice gets a little bit loose as well. And that Clark Williams thinking about now maybe getting up into 2nd. He's been back there being very patient.
Okay, Bill, so yeah, you want to jump ahead a few laps here, maybe 10 laps. 10 laps to go. Let's jump ahead 8 laps. Let's say, what are the tires going to feel like? Okay, this is not a very big tire on this car. We've been sliding around a bit here. The track conditions are decent, but guys are driving hard. They're going to get a little wicked. Car really, Sunset's going to become more of an adventure, especially when you're trying to find a passing, a chance to draft up Ullman here. And, again, Sunset going to get very tricky as the tires start to fall off. The fuel load's going to get lighter. You're going to have to change your style, how you get through there. The hairpin is going to be just as tricky as it ever was, probably as worse as it was on the cold tires when you started. So lots of things to watch out for as we get into the last couple laps of this race.
Well, Summers just did 2 spots down Ullman Straight, and then he got around Venice in Sunset. He made it look really easy. Now he's just got Farinelli there, who's up about a half a second on it, but he'll be able to run him down. Boy, what Summers just did right there makes me want to feel like I do not want him behind me when it comes to the last lap. Man, he did a great move. Williams back to his familiar position of 4th now.
Yeah, and back in 5th, Josh Arnold starting to maybe pick up just a little bit of ground on those guys. Still quite a bit of work to do, 10 seconds off of them, but, again, trying to keep it close at least.
Luca Verani in 8th position. We look at him real quick, has got back in behind Gerald McAreevy there, is pulled back in, so he has a chance to pick up some positions.
Good battle back here for 15th. Mokarani has it nailed down right now, but he's got competition behind him. Bobby West, Jason Perry. There's Jason Perry in a number 97 Spider-Man machine. He's recovered, got himself up to 16th. Takes away the position for Bobby West. Just behind them, Michael Chase.
Chase giving chase, looking for somewhere to go, but the road is blocked ahead of him. Chase had a nice run, but there was no track.
Perry does a great job of getting through the hairpin right there, and that gives him a nice run as they head up through Fangio here. Going to be a battle when they get down to turn 10. Hard right-hander, got to really get on it. And you got to get right there, Bill. You got to get back on the power just right, or the car's going to loop around on you. These guys are doing a great job, though. We hear Williams has got some trouble up front there, Bill.
Well, he's in a manner of speaking, he has dropped off the lead. He's running in third. Venitz is now running in fourth, but he's real close to losing contact with those teammates up in front of Farinelli and Summers. So let's see what they can do through sunset here. What those guys need in second and third is to see those two teammates start to battle a little bit, because they've opened up a 1.3 second lead back to third and fourth. I think Williams, I'm not sure if he's faster than Venitz. I might be tempted to let Venitz go by and see if we can team up and get up to those guys. Go back and see if I'm rewinding to see if there was an incident that caused them to lose positions. Oh, what happened was going into 5. I found it going into 5. Venitz got into the back of Summers from third position, lost all of his momentum, and then Williams need to check up to avoid contact, and all that momentum has let the two drivers get away in front. So now what was a 4-car train has turned into a 2-car battle. And that gap is now glowing. I would not be surprised with 8 laps to go if I could see Summers and Farinelli just say, okay, let's settle down here and see if we can make this a battle between us. And look, I think that's what they're doing right now. Look at Farinelli right behind his teammate.
I wonder if he was responsible for putting the chrome horn to the back of his teammate there. A little bit of damage on that machine. Summers there up just in front. Bill, I got to be honest with you, I can't get my eyes off the battle back here for 15th place. It's still raging on.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's go back and look at it. It's been going on. Now, who's fallen back into the mix is poor Mehdi Makrani there in the car number 186 machine. It won't be long till he's in the hunt with these maniacs that are behind him. This is some exciting fighting going on back there.
Yeah, and Jason Perry had gotten right up on him. And then Jason had gotten a little bit too much curb in one of the turns, fell back just a bit, but he's caught him again. As they head up through Fangio, here goes Jason Perry on the charge.
Perry tried to make up from that mistake he had earlier. Probably not happy with his running right now in 15th. Should be able to get a bit of a tow here. Let's see if he does anything as they go through this little left-hander, and that's going to set up this tight right-hander. Perry just stalking, waiting for the right time. Maybe waiting for the Ullman straight to do it.
You got to get a good run here off the turn. Perry gets a nice run out of the exit. He's able to stay right with him. Makrani trying to break the draft just a bit.
There you see him beginning to gobble him up. Not sure if he has enough time to get there before sunset. Maybe not this time. You can see those cars bounce around. Oh, Makrani really sawing on the wheel to keep that car going in the right direction. Burning up those back tires.
Yeah, that's some good racing. And, you know, Bill, it's great to still see him battling for 15th place. You know, certainly you want to be up front, but this is a sprint, and you're running out of time here. You're trying to get any position you can. Perry still working on it. Makrani still fighting. They've got the car in front of them now, Bill.
They run down the next guy.
Yeah, William, no.
That group is really moving. I think they're going to eat. They're going to gobble up William with no problem here.
Yeah, in fact, here comes Makrani around him right now. Oh, Makrani making an evasive move around him. Side by side, a little bit of contact. Excuse me, sir. Get out of the way. Oh,
under.
Back up to the inside.
Banging, still banging.
And Perry opens the door for Perry. Also, here he comes right on through. Thank you, sir. I'll have another. Not quite yet.
Look at McCruddy trying to defend that position, and now Perry jumps inside. Noel able to fend off everything. McCruddy went left, and then he had to go right to get around Noel, and when it all worked out, Noel's still up in front. Meanwhile, up in front, I got to point this out, that those guys in third and fourth, Williams and Venitz, has run down the leader, so we're back to a 4-car battle. And now we have a pass for the lead with Clark Williams no longer looking back from fourth. He's looking back from third, and that's a position that you could win with right now. Farinelli on the outside of Sunset. Summers fights back on the inside. They go 2 by 2 as they come to Summers, really sliding that car around, trying to make it stick on the inside. Farinelli getting a better drive off the corner. Back there watching the whole thing happen is Clark Williams, and then Venitz right behind him. Max now taking a peek on Venitz. Is he going to go to the inside through one? Not yet. Oh, a spin! Oh. Summers has spun, but he turns it around. Can he keep it going straight? Not quite as good. Not a spin to win, but I think he's going to be able to still get out ahead. Oh, he's put it in the wall.
Oh, Peters is around back here. Made contact with the 836 of William Noel.
Looking back, though, at the Summer replay, Summer just was trying to get to the outside and misjudged how close he was to the wall.
On screen, the replay real quickly here. You'll see the racing really hard here. There's Jason Perry in a 97. Coming down into Sunset. Makes that quick, just a little bit of contact as both cars are starting to slow down, get into their braking zone. Sends him around, and he is out of that battle now, and McCrony gets through and gets away unscathed.
Looking at McCrony here, you can see, look at those 2 cars ahead of him. McCrony does a great job of getting there and then locking it up. Nice job of driving from him. Boy, he's had an exciting race. So we were able to cover that action that we had been watching the whole time. You saw that on replay, and then, of course, you saw the spin up there live as it happened between our leaders. So now it's down to a 3-car battle, as now our leaders are getting up on some lap traffic. They're going around Bob Grant. Bob Grant, a former Mama Jean racing driver, doing a good job of getting out of the way. And that 3-car battle up in front, Felipe Farinelli. Clark Williams is now in the perfect position to win this race, Sean, running second.
I think that's where you want to be right now, but Venitz making a big mistake there.
Yeah, Venitz looked like he was going to dive to the inside, then decided better of it, and then lost all momentum. He could not get a good corner exit, put it out on the grass. He's going to have to work to get back up. It's about 1.5 seconds now from Williams back to Venitz. Venitz is going to have to keep that car straight. The story up front keep changing. It's a 4-car battle. Then it was a 2-car battle between Farinelli and Summers. Then the 2 cars got back in it. Then Summers makes a mistake, and it's a 3-car battle. And then Venitz drops out of it again. Now it's a 2-car battle, this time between Farinelli and Williams. The one driver who's always been mentioned is Farinelli. On board, we drive with Clark Williams right now, looking ahead of that leader. Leader's going to be coming up on Richard Valley.
Yeah, Richard Valley sitting here in the back of the field right now. Richard running 39th place. He's going to need to get out of the way. They're going to catch him at a very bad spot on the track here, Bill. The hairpin, not the place to catch a lap car.
The good news is he's not fighting for position. Valley should be able to stay to the outside, which is... Oh, no, he doesn't.
He does not.
Oh, I thought he was slowing down to let him by. That was... They managed it. He had every right to that apex, but now I think that ruined the exit speed of Farinelli. Now we have a battle for the lead. Here comes Williams. Williams with the inside through that little left-hander, but now he's on the outside as they come into this sharp right area. Williams gets the lead. Farinelli behind. Williams was able to get the job done before they got there, and we have a new leader. It's Clark Williams, sitting back in 4th position for most of the race, watching all the excitement, taking notes, figuring out how he was going to do it. Well, he's done it. Your new leader is Clark Williams with 5 laps to go, and all that battling, Sean, has let Max Venitz back in the hunt. If Venitz gets a good exit, he can get a tow here down Ullman, and he'll be able to join these guys in another battle for the lead. Oh, my goodness.
Bill, the battle for fourth place is heating up. They're chasing Luca Ferrani. Everybody chasing him. Luca's just barely hanging on. He's got Josh Arnold, Sebastian Rabin, Gerard McAravey all trying to hunt him down. I talked about the practice Lucas put in. He would so much love to get a podium finish, but right now, where he's at, he is playing defense, baby. Here they come. Up Ullman.
And that's the position he was in before, leading that pack, that second pack. He was out in front, then he lost that, fell way back behind. We'll stay on this battle. Meanwhile, there's a pass for lead. Farinelli has worked his way back into the front. But we'll stay right here. You're looking at, that's Verani up in front of that blue machine, and there's Arnold. And then side by side in the back there, you're looking at, as we drop back a little farther to, there's McCarvey. McCarvey and Arnold side by side there.
So now your tires might be starting to get a little greasy, Bill. You're having to make adjustments out of your driving style around here. Luca, I'm still following Luca Ferrani. He is under attack right now. He's got the two back there, Josh Arnold.
Let's go back to the front real quick, because the leaders are having a hard time getting around this lap car of Trip Smith. Trip does a good job of maintaining his line. All three guys get around. Nice job, Trip. We can go back to your battle now. That's settled down. I had my spidey senses were tingling there, and I thought something was going to happen.
Yeah, nothing changed yet. I mean, Luca's still holding down fourth place, but Josh Arnold not letting him get away. As they head into the Mobile One bridge, they head down into the hairpin.
Those guys are all going to have to work the same traffic that the leaders got through. Bob Grant, Richard Valley, and then Trip Smith, probably before the race is over with 4 to go.
And that could be the deciding factor. They may not catch them here still for, I don't know, about another maybe lap, half a lap. And that could decide the race, Bill, whether or not those guys get out of the way, where they wind up in that string of traffic. All you need is just a moment to get away, and if you have a good run, you keep the car clean, those guys are never going to catch you.
Not missing anything up front. They're still running Farinelli, Williams, and Venitz, but Venitz is definitely back in the hunt now.
Well, Bill, here's the good news. We started 48 cars. Guess what? We've still got 42 of them on track, sir. Ian Wilson, the 42nd car, coming up Ullman, heading down into Sunset now.
And there's a pass for the lead. You see that? What color is that car, Director? Kind of burnt gold? What are we going to call Clark Williams there? Green color, car number 15. That's a green machine. The green machine gets around the 44 machine of Farinelli. 1-2. Venice back there watching the whole thing. Now Farinelli coming back again. Now this is interesting. This is on the inside of 1. Right here. I think that Williams could fight back if he wants to here, but he's going to surrender that position. Now, Sean, the question is, and this is what, let's go ahead. We talked about jumping ahead before. Now we only have to jump ahead 1 lap. Is there enough time between the exit of Sunset and the start-finish line to get a pass done, do you think? Do you need to be leading, or can you still get there, would you think?
It really depends on what line you're taking through there. If you're taking that line down to the middle down to the inside up against the wall, you shoot out of there with a lot of power. You can almost slingshot yourself off that wall, power yourself across the line. Somebody stuck out to the outside, having a little bit of trouble with grip, will lose that momentum if they're ahead. And there's a good opportunity there to make a pass and win the race. There is enough room, or there's enough distance to get to the finish line there and get ahead.
Tip of the hat to Ian Wilson, who did a good job of letting the leaders go by. Wilson running in 42nd.
Luca Ferrani's around. So's Richard. Richard Valley was one of the cars at the back of the field, but Luca Ferrani got spun around. He's still trying to get back under power.
Oh, it's a dive bomb. I don't know how else to call that. That was a dive bomb from Gerald McAreevy. I think if you look dive bomb up in the dictionary, this is what you'll see. Watch the car on the inside.
Boy, that was one of the rules they talked about. No dive bombing. That is tough. Wow, what a tough break for Luca.
Let's go back up to the leaders real quick because they have some more lap traffic to get around.
You don't want to tick off the boss, do you, Bill?
No, you sure don't.
Ouch.
If you're gonna dive bomb anybody, don't dive bomb the series organizer. Ralph Kemmerer with a great job in the car number 68 lets leaders go around him. Sean, if I'm trying for the win here, I want to be ahead going down the Ullman straight. I want to take a defensive line, make the guy try to get me through Sunset on the outside, and then hope for the best coming out of Sunset. That would be my call. Right now we see, here he goes. We're getting close. These guys are now trying to position themselves for this last lap. We're working on 2 laps remaining here. They go through Sunset. This is all about strategy now. Where do you want to be? Williams back out in front. Farinelli in second, maybe Venice in third.
I definitely want to be the guy that makes the last move on Ullman there to get to the inside. I'll be honest with you. I want that inside lane. I want to keep it nice and tidy like I've talked about before, up against that wall on the inside of Sunset, and then give me the power off.
Okay, Farinelli back out in front. Felipe in second. We have 2 laps to go. We'll try to follow up on some of these other battles. Venice might be sitting back there in the smartest position of all. If he can hang with these guys, we'll focus most of our attention on the top 3 leaders and then try to find anybody else of an interest.
There is a nice battle raging on for 6th. We've got Sebastian Raymond right now is holding on. And he's got Martin Ensman just behind him, and where Gerard McAravey is wound up. That's a good little 3-car battle. Anything could happen in that mix.
That's Ensman's in the middle there, and Raymond out in front, and McAravey behind there in 7th. Nothing going on up front. Farinelli still out in front. Williams chasing. Venice doing his very best to hang with those guys. I'm a little worried he's beginning to lose touch. And now I'm going to jump you back to the leader real quick, because now all of a sudden it seems like Farinelli has really started to take matters seriously as he's beginning to forget about this last lap type of deal. He's trying to distance himself a little bit from Williams.
I take my hat off to Josh Arnold in the number 2, running 4th place. He's had a great race, very clean, lost the leaders early, but I got to be honest with you, the competition has been behind him the whole way since.
And we look now as we go. This is our penultimate time through Sunset. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm sorry, I've got a slow car here on the inside of Ullman, coming up Ullman. That's the number 68 at Ralph Kemmerer. Lots of cars coming by. He has to get out of the way. I think he spun coming off the last turn there, coming off of Lamar.
Okay, we're on the last lap. Let's go ahead and focus on our leader right now. He's opened up about an 0.8 of a second lead on Williams. Williams is really going to have to keep it clean through this twisty section if he has a chance to get up there. Farinelli trying to drop Williams, so there's not going to be a chance for a last sling slot. But meanwhile, Williams be able to close the distance now. He's beginning to gain a little bit here. Closing in 0.6 of a second now. He's getting it down to into the 0.5 of a second. It's getting there. Williams be able to run him down as they go through the right-hander. Williams is there through this. They go through 5. Williams is up there. Venice has really fallen off the pace. I don't think he's going to be a factor. A great drive off the corner from Farinelli. Oh my goodness. He's going to leave Williams behind. Williams is just struggling now. Farinelli had a great drive through 5 and is pulling away. Williams doing everything, Sean, to get back up into the hunt.
I'm watching the battle for 5th place. Martin Ensman's got it locked down, but I'll tell you what, this 27 of Sebastian Raymond not giving up yet. Still a couple opportunities left.
Let's stay on that battle for a little bit longer because there's nothing going on up front. It's stretched out. This is more exciting here. You see Ensman in the kind of white and gray car in the middle. Doesn't get a very good, doesn't find the apex at all through that corner. Arnold out in front. Nothing going on up front. This is the closest battle we have.
Yeah, Raymond locked him up just a little bit getting into that turn. He's back on the power now. Into the draft of Ensman.
Farinelli has opened up a 1 second gap on Williams as they go down the Ullman Straight with only one corner to go.
Oh, another battle just behind them.
We have sticking here with Farinelli now as they go through Sunset. Farinelli comfortably out in front. He just needs to negotiate these bumps. Bumpity, bumpity, bumpity. He gets it done. Your winner of round 9 of the SRF Big Grid is Felipe Farinelli. Go ahead, Sean. What you looking at?
Well, I'm still looking at that battle. Sebastian Raymond's got one last chance. One last chance to catch Martin Ensman for 5th place. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off.
Oh, a great exit from Raymond on the outside. Has he got enough distance to get there before the start-finish line? I don't think so.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That's because Ensman kept it down there inside like I talked about, and he got the power off.
Barani coming in 7th. Boslav in 8th. The close battle there. Gerald Makarivi in 9th.
Okay, Overguard battling for position. Can he get it away from...
Oh! Closing in there, I think. Who was that? That was Overguard and Ginnon?
Grinnan, yes, that was Grinnan. And Overguard gets the spot.
I don't think so. I think it went to Grinnan. I think Grinnan beat Overguard. Grinnan got 12th. Overguard got 13th, according to iRacing.
Oh, yes, he did. Okay, yes. It was different on my timing and scoring app, but yeah, there we go. That was a great battle there to the finish. Still cars making their way around.
Let's go to 16th position, Jeff Bixby right now. Being chased by Tim Phillips. I believe this is still finishing up here. Yeah, Phillips is in a battle here.
Claudio Ferrari coming around. He's going to take 25th place.
Is this? Yeah, this battle is done. This battle is done. Looking for...
Yeah, there's...
All right, I found one for you. Let's go to 27th position. Don Brooks in a battle with Dennis Neagle.
Yeah, and here comes Dennis looking to the inside. He's slingshotting him now. Dennis with the run down into Sunset. Here he goes. Is he going to keep it down there on the inside? No, he swings it out.
Oh, Brooks trying to thread the Neagle, and he loses and he can't get it done. They're side by side. They touch. Brooks is not going to be able to get it done. He puts it in the wall. It's really not going to matter because that's the last car on the lead lap. Take your time, Don. I don't think there's anybody coming.
And all Dennis had to do was just kind of power through that. We kind of used him as a break almost of it. It's kind of a soft wall there to get through that.
Little Dennis safe and barrier there. All right, that's going to wrap up all the cars on the lead lap. We'll see Don Brooks coming across in 33rd position. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back to run down the entire field, do driver interviews, and closing credits. Back in just a few. Hey, welcome back. Where'd you go? Come back in and join us here at the Global Sim Racing Channel. This is our post-race coverage of the Spec Racer 4, the SRF Big Grid. And boy, it was a big grid, and there was some big excitement as well. Let's go ahead and run down the entire field for you here. Your winner, Felipe Farinelli, he was up in front a lot, going back and forth, but in the end, he was able to drive away from Clark Williams for a comfortable win. Max Venice followed to watch the whole action and finished in the final podium spot. Josh Arnold in fourth. Martin Ensman took home the final top 5 position. Then the back half of the top 5 was Sebastian Ramos. Tim Seidel in the snowman position after getting punted in what I thought was a bit of a dive bomb. Luca Verani comes back in 8th spot. Vaslav in 9th, and then the final spot there, Gerald McAreevy.
All right there, and now in 11th, we had Meaty McRonnie. 11th place, Manning Grinnan, 12th. 13th, Stefan Overgaard. Jason Perry, we saw him charging pretty hard today. Lots of action for the number 97, 14th. Bobby West, 15th. Robert Fears, he was also in some great battles today. He's got to settle for 16th. Mario Perez, he'll finish 17th. Jeff Bixby in 18th. Tim Phillips, 19th. And Kelly Nickett, 20th.
Hitting blackjack was Michael Chase. Charlie Summers, after running up front and actually in the lead for quite a few laps, had that little incident, fell back into the 22nd position. Our pre-race interview, Darren Keene in 23rd. The double dozen spot goes to Ronnie Dudek. At the quarter century mark, it's Claudio Ferrari. Boy, I like to say that. Right behind him is Rixter Marino Paredes in 28th, that's 26th position. 27th, 28th, and 29th goes to Kyle Young, Luke Cooper, and Jonathan Keir. We like to see Jonathan Keir back in there, a roaster loyalist in the MX-5 World Tour. Doesn't really have a choice of which side to drive in this little machine. Adam Bradshaw rounds out the top 30. Sean?
All right, so let's go to 31. That's going to be Paul Wellington, 31st place. Our old friend Dennis Neagle, 32nd. Don Brooks, 33rd. Those were 33 cars. Finished this race on the lead lap, Bill. That's a great race in my book, sir.
Yeah, it's very good.
34th, going to go to Philip Berry, just a lap down. Ralph Kemmerer, a little bit of bad luck today for Ralph, but he'll take 35th. Trip Smith, 36th. Richard Valley, 37th. Tom Vanderpool, 38th. Bob Grant, 39th. And Dale Bennison, 40th.
And then we get into the drivers that had a little trouble. First car 2 laps down, Ian Wilson. William Knoll, who we saw a little bit of, 3 laps down. Tony Carboni in 43rd position there. Fraser Williamson in 44th. He finished 14 laps down. 45th, 46th, 47th, and 48th goes to Cristobal Gutierrez. Johnny Gindy, who we saw start second and was able not to fill 44 positions to finish 42nd. Bad run for Gindy. Aaron Pitts and Steve Gravy Waltz Allen in 48th. And that wraps up everybody. Sean, looks like we have one interview. And this is if we had a choice of one driver to talk to, I would want to talk to Lucas Ferrani. So let's bring him in and we'll let Sean give him a quick talk.
Luca, great race, sir. Great turnout today. 48 cars. That was a lot of fun. Not a bad race for you. A little bit of a little battle in there in the last lap, sir.
Hi, Joe. Thanks once again for the broadcast. Looking forward to see it as usual. I hope the race was good. I certainly had fun. Also, quite a bit of strange troubles, to be honest. It started poorly, so we had a crash at the beginning of lap 2. That's not what we like to see in these big grid races, but it happens. Funny thing is that ever since the guy in front of me, Sebastian, had a damaged car, my FPS dropped. So they went down to 50 in some corners, and that gave me a huge lot of problems. Then later on, just to make things even more complicated, my screen went black with a message that Treading Paint had crashed, so I lost 5 seconds. Luckily, I didn't collect anybody. But then my race actually got interesting. because I was 5.6 seconds behind Josh. I think I was 8 or something, and I managed to catch the 3 guys ahead of me back up. However, once I caught them, I went back in the tail of Sebastian and my FPS dropped again. Still, I was able to make some nice passes. It was a lot of fun. And then, unfortunately, a couple of laps from the end, Gerard missed his braking point at the hairpin and crashed into me. And, well, my car was done, basically. Still, a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, we enjoyed having you over here, Luca. This was a lot of fun. We can't wait until the next one. Certainly, again, a great turnout today. Not quite 60 cars, but I'm sure you got to be pretty happy with 48 showing up.
Well, it's okay. The summer or the spring is always a little down for iRacing. I never quite understood why. But we had 57 registered drivers, 48 showed up. I guess it's okay. The track is a little difficult, so no complaints there.
Well, again, thank you, Luca, for bringing us on board here for another big grid race. Lots of fun out here today. We'll see you next time. Safe travel to you, my friend. Thank you again so much. Great race today.
Yeah, if I can say something very quickly. Next season, we'll go back to a charity event that we do that once a year. So please show up and donate. Thank you.
Thank you, Luca, very much. We'll definitely keep that in mind. The next big grid race, next week 13 big grid race, that will be a nice big charity event, and your donations will certainly be appreciated. Bill, again, what a great race here at Sebring today. We saw the passing, we saw the challenges that the track brings. We saw cars off the track, on the track, side by side, door handle to door handle. I'm out of breath, man.
And I got to give Luke a lot of credit for being politically correct there when he talked about Gerald McAreevy missing his breaking point. That's a kind way to put it. Oops, I missed my breaking point. That was very nice. I want to also thank Luca right now. It's right here in the script here for organizing this event and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We sure do enjoy it, Luca, and thanks for choosing us. We know you have a lot of choices of airlines when you fly, and we thank you for flying GSRC. Thanks to the company, its equipment and software that we use on the broadcast that you see on the screen right now. Well, you'll be seeing on the screen, and there you have it. The original music that you heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them, and if you haven't downloaded some of their digital music, get to it, okay? Thanks to my mic make Sean Ambrose, our director Amjad Yaman. No, that's not right. Our director Joe Peak. Don't read what's down here. Just know who you got working with here, Bill. Dougie Beard for his camera locations. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSRC and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. I can't believe I read the actual wrong name for the director. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way, hey, before I say that, make sure you tune back in. We got another race coming up here on GSRC. It's We Stand United event. Going to be on in a few hours. Some stock car racing from Michigan. It'll be fun. Sean and I will both be there for that one. So come and join us. We'll have some cookies for you. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way, it's time for us to go have fun storming the castle. So until next time, which I just told you will be in a few hours, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.